Hello and welcome to Indus News live from Islamabad. I am Aneeb Hamid with the news of this hour. Let's begin with the top stories first. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the entire city of Goma, with over 2 million inhabitants, is being evacuated after a large volcano erupted. A new fracture enabled lava to flow south towards the city and reach the airport. Mount Nyiragongo's volcano is one of the world's most active and is considered among the most dangerous. In China's northwestern Gansu province, 21 people have died and 8 others got injured after extremely cold weather struck during an ultra-marathon. In a press briefing, local officials said 172 people were taking part in the Yellow River Stone Forest Race near Bulletin city. They said 151 runners have been rescued. India has recorded over 3,700 deaths from COVID-19 and more than 240,000 cases in the past 24 hours. In Pakistan, 74 people have died, while more than 3,000 tested positive for the virus overnight. Globally, the virus has claimed more than 3.4 million lives and has infected over 166 million people. Myanmar military has suspended nearly 126,000 school teachers for joining the civil disobedience movement against the coup. The suspensions come days before the start of a new school year, which is boycotted by parents and teachers. Meanwhile, the National Unity Government has called on foreign donors to stop funding the junta-controlled Education Ministry. These were the top stories. These in detail after a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's have the news in detail. Start from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the entire city of Goma, with over 2 million inhabitants, is being evacuated after a large volcano erupted, spewing tons of ash into the sky. Fountains of high lava burst from Mount Nyiragongo into the night sky, forming a thick orange cloud over Goma. A new fracture opened up on the volcano, enabling lava to flow south towards Goma and reach the airport. Electricity was out across large areas, while one highway that connects Goma with the city of Benai had already been engulfed by the lava. Thousands of panic-stricken residents carrying belongings fled to the city, even on foot, with many heading towards Rwanda. Nyiragongo volcano is one of the world's most active volcanoes and is considered among the most dangerous. Its last eruption in 2002 killed 250 people and left 120,000 homeless. Now, in China's northwestern Gansu province, 21 people have died and 8 others got injured after extremely cold weather struck during an ultra-marathon. In a press briefing, local officials said 172 people were taking part in the Yellow River Stone Forest Race near Bulletin city. They said 151 runners have been rescued. Local authorities said hail, freezing rain and gales in the area resulted in the temperature's drop. Officials said a landslide following the severe weather hampered the rescue work. The Gansu government said it has formed a special group to investigate the incident. Now, the United Nations Security Council has called for full adherence to a ceasefire agreed between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Meanwhile, Mauritania's parliament has urged the International Criminal Court to prosecute Israeli officials for genocide in Gaza. As the fragile ceasefire holds in Gaza, people in the blockaded strip continue to assess the extensive damage. 248 people were martyred by Israel including 66 children in 11 days of relentless aerial bombardment. But the United Nations Security Council statement only received U.S. backing after the removal of a paragraph condemning the violence. In a statement, the United Nations Security Council stressed the need for immediate humanitarian assistance to Palestinians. Over in Europe, the European Union's policy chief has termed the number of civilian casualties in Gaza unacceptable. Joseph Borrell urged the return to meaningful negotiations towards a two-state solution. He said the European Union cannot be expected to finance yet again the rebuilding of Gaza without a meaningful prospect of actually solving the underlying conflict. The United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says nearly 50% of Gaza's water network has been destroyed. It said the airstrikes have left approximately 800,000 people without access to clean piped water. Earlier, Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani said Doha will continue efforts to stop Israeli aggression against Palestinians.
Now, the Pakistan Army says a soldier has been martyred when terrorists opened fire from across the Afghan border. In a statement, the military's media wing, the ISPR, said the terrorists targeted a military post in North Waziristan. The ISPR said the Pakistani troops responded befittingly to the firing. It added that Pakistan strongly condemns the use of Afghan soil by terrorists. It said Islamabad has consistently asked Kabul to ensure effective management on their side of the border. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has hailed Turkey's efforts for peace in the war-ravaged country. Ghani said this as he received the credentials of Cihat Ergini, a new Turkish ambassador to Kabul. In a statement, Ghani said Afghanistan is committed to continuation of bilateral relations with Turkey. For his part, the Turkish envoy said Ankara is committed to continuing its assistance to ensure stability in Afghanistan. Turkey had pledged to host a high-level international peace conference on Afghanistan in April, but the Taliban declined to attend. Instead, a trilateral conference among the foreign ministers of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Turkey was held on April 23rd. Moving on, Polish Defense Minister Mariusz Błaszczak says Warsaw will buy 24 combat drones from Turkey. In doing so, Poland will become the first NATO member to buy Turkish-made unmanned aerial vehicles. In an interview, the defense minister said the first Bayraktar TB2 drone will be delivered next year. He added the drones will be armed with anti-tank projectiles. Błaszczak said this country will also buy a logistics and training package from Ankara. The deal will be signed next week during a visit by Polish President Andrzej Duda to Turkey. Now, India has recorded over 3,700 deaths from COVID-19 and more than 240,000 cases in the past 24 hours. Globally, the virus has claimed more than 3.4 million lives and has infected over 166 million people.
For the past 2 months, India has been living a COVID nightmare as it struggles to contain the virus amid piling deaths. New Delhi's already staggered vaccination campaign has hit a wall after completely running out of supplies. With nearly 9,000 people now infected with the fatal black fungus, the Indian government has told doctors to look out for signs of black fungus in COVID-19 patients. As the virus spreads to rural areas, poor health infrastructure and a lack of testing have forced many to turn to unlicensed clinics.
There is an atmosphere of fear among the people because of the second wave of the pandemic. People are not stepping out of their homes. We are not getting any government facilities. A small team came and checked a few people in lift. After that, no one has come to the village to check on us. We do not have any facilities here.
A new study has found that both Pfizer and AstraZeneca jabs are highly effective against the strain of the COVID-19 virus found in India. Meanwhile, a guide says a COVID-19 outbreak on Mount Everest has infected at least 100 climbers and support staff. In England, a new triple mutant coronavirus variant detected first in Yorkshire is under investigation. New data shows that more than 50 million coronavirus vaccine doses have now been given in England.
I've been really thrilled by the levels of vaccine uptake. I mean, in people over 50, 95% of people have now had the jab, but we want that to be as high as 100%, of course we do. And then as we've gone down the age groups, the uptake's been fantastic. 4 in 5 people in their late 40s have already had the jab. And so we're seeing this incredible level of take-up at all ages.
While Western nations buy and stock millions of vaccines, only 25 million doses have been administered in the whole of the African continent. The World Health Organization has termed the disparity tragic. Meanwhile, Pakistan has recorded 74 more deaths from the new coronavirus in the past 24 hours. The Health Ministry says fatalities toll has surged to 20,251. The caseload has surpassed the 900,000 mark with nearly 3,100 new infections overnight. The ministry says over 817,000 people have recovered from the disease so far. It said there are more than 62,000 active cases in the country. Nearly 4,400 of them are in critical condition. Moving on now, Myanmar's military has suspended nearly 126,000 school teachers for joining the civil disobedience movement against the coup. The suspensions come days before the start of a new school year, which is boycotted by parents and teachers. The Teachers Federation says over 19,000 university staff has also been suspended. Meanwhile, the National Unity Government has called on foreign donors to stop funding the Junta-controlled Education Ministry. In a statement, Shadow Government spokesperson said it will work with educators who are refusing to support the military. Myanmar's education system is the poorest in the region, ranked 92 of 93 countries in a survey. Now, in Vietnam, voters are casting their ballot in the parliamentary elections today. 866 candidates are contesting for the 500-seat National Assembly. Some 92% of candidates are members of the Communist Party, which also essentially vets independent candidates. Nearly 69.2 million Vietnamese people are registered to vote. They will also vote for members of the People's Councils at provincial and district levels. Election results are expected to be announced after about 2 weeks. Vietnam is also battling a new COVID-19 outbreak that is spreading rapidly and has infected over 2,000 people since late April. More news coming up after a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, the U.S. has decided to extend for 18 months the ban on deporting Haitian citizens back to their country. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said social concerns and human rights abuses in Haiti led to the decision. It said the COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated the dire economic situation and lack of access to food, water and healthcare. The move enables Haitian nationals currently residing in the U.S. to file applications for temporary protected status. Haiti was initially designated for the program in 2010, but the Trump administration had announced the suspension of the program. However, the temporary protection had remained in effect due to litigation challenging the decision. Now, in Bolivia, authorities have discovered and destroyed a cocaine laboratory inside a natural park in the northern Amazon department of Mene. Police found the tarpaulin-covered makeshift factory hidden in a section of the park. Interior Minister Carlos Eduardo del Castillo says the laboratory had 11 rooms. The minister said 110 kilograms of crystallized cocaine was manufactured per day in the lab. Bolivian authorities have found 5 drug mega labs in recent days, 2 of which were located on a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The anti-drug squads have seized a record of more than 7 tons of cocaine over the past 4 months. Billionaire Richard Branson's space tourism firm Virgin Galactic has completed its 3rd successful spaceflight. The success has cued the company's aims of launching customer flights to suborbital space from the next year. According to the company, the rocket-powered plane VSS Unity, carrying 2 pilots, reached an altitude of 55.45 miles. The Virgin Galactic has 600 customers signed up already to fly to the edge of space for a $250,000 ticket. The company says the tickets will be sold at a higher price than previously when the sales reopen. In France now, Patrick Violas owns a sanctuary for lions, bears and laboratory primates southwest of Paris. Now he is planning an extension before a ban on circus animals comes into effect.
Violas plowed 25 million euros of his own money into a sanctuary for lions, bears and laboratory primates. One pair of lions was rescued from Spain, where their owner paraded them for tourists to take photographs on beachfronts and in nightclubs. Their claws had been ripped out and they had no mane after being castrated at birth. In another enclosure lives a macaque who was subjected to experiments related to neurological diseases for most of her 22 years. After she picked lice off another monkey, she would have been euthanized if the sanctuary had not taken her in.
Canel, c'est la doyenne, elle est rentrée d'une cage de laboratoire.
Canel is the oldest macaw we have. She was put in a lab cage when she was 2 years old. She worked for 3 study cycles on Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's. Canel still has 15 years to live. She must be 22 now, but I don't see her age because I love her so much. Her life was taken from her for 19 years to work for us. So if we humans don't owe her retirement instead of euthanasia, what are we doing on Earth?
Violas says his facility is a refuge above all for animals that need it when there is no other solution. Now that France has banned circus animals, Violas says numerous circus owners have called to reserve space at the shelter. Paulo Teixeira is a former circus trainer who now works at Violas Animal Refuge.
I really don't know of any other place where you can have this many animals. Because there are places for tigers, places for monkeys, but we can accommodate any kind of animal, from elephants to tigers and cats. Everything. What we want is to help animals.
The ban will be phased in over 5 years once the new law, now with the Senate, comes into effect. There are some 80 traveling circuses in France with more than 200 big cats, elephants, hippos, wolves and other animals. Violas says his is one of the 3 sanctuaries able to look after wild animals and the only one with spare capacity.
And the US more than 1,200 film and television memorabilia are set for auction in June at the prop store in Santa Clarita, California.
The prop store says they have got something for everyone as they arrange their biggest ever auction. Bidders will be able to view the full catalogue of items via Zoom and make their purchases online and by phone globally. Among the hundreds of items, collectors will find memorabilia from films like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Batman, Elf, Top Gun and The Muppets, to name a few. Harry Potter's wand and eyeglasses worn by Daniel Radcliffe promise to be one of the most sought items.
This is the first time that the Warner Brothers Archive has released Harry Potter's wand and glasses to auction. The exciting part for this as well is that 100% of the hammer price proceeds for these 2 pieces are going to go to charity, and both of them are valued at $30,000 to $50,000 each. So we're really hoping that the charity gets a lot of help from this auction.
TRUCE says fans should not be discouraged by the price tag on these items. The prop store has collectibles for all budgets from the price range of hundreds of thousands to the low hundreds.
Such as these background shoes from the movie Elf. These will be in the lower range of prices, but the hope is that with 1,300 lots, anybody that's a fan of these films can come and walk away with something that they love.
The prop store says the live auction over 3 days is worth in excess of $6.1 million.
And now let's have a look at the weather reports. that is all for now. For the latest updates, you can follow us on social media at indus.news.